From the Ellen Media Worldwide Headquarters Studios, high atop 2 Turtle Creek, this is Deconstructing Dallas. Greetings, everyone. It's your well-rested host, Ryan Trimble, sitting alongside the fishy Shawn Williams. Shawn, good day, sir.
Hey, what's happening, my friend? There was a lot of fishing going on in Paris, Texas on yesterday, man. I have to say, you may have seen some of the photos that made it to social media. And by the way, happy 10th birthday to Malia Williams yesterday. She caught a big catfish on her 10th birthday, and we were all really excited.
That's right. I'm glad you took pictures of your catfish that you caught, Shawn, because it was going to be another just a big fishtail if you hadn't.
Yeah, that's why I had to take photo evidence. And I didn't post the picture with me and my fish yet. I was told that it looked like I came straight out of my Paris, Texas country roots on my photo, which I do not, deny, and I am not running away from. So I do need to post that picture to the social media.
Well, you post that picture, City Slicker, Shawn, and we'll look forward to seeing that.
So yeah, we were doing a lot of birthday celebrating. We did a lot of fishing. My mom was roasting hot dogs while we were out on the lake. But what were the Trimbles up to for the holiday?
Well, Shawn, this Memorial Day weekend was potty training weekend for one toddler in our household that did wish everybody a happy Memorial Day weekend, which was the cutest thing ever. But all in all, it was a successful weekend. We splashed around in the water table out back, had some water balloon fights. There's a great picture of her sitting on the little potty, eating a popsicle, just having the time of her life. So it was a great weekend for the Trimbles. Different than I expected, different than past Memorial Day weekends, but I did get a chance to sneak in and watch the last 20 laps or so of the Indy 500. Congratulations again. Team Penske comes away with another win, Shawn.
The farthest I got on that was I saw that Matt Damon and Christian Bale waved the flag, I think, at the beginning. We talked a little bit about open wheel racing.
Yes.
As I stretch my driving racing vocabulary. But I did see an open wheel race at Texas Motor Speedway once. It was loud. It was fun. A lot of circular action going on. But it was a good time. But you've been to Indy?
I've been 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
It's a blast. A couple of buddies of mine, and we used to always go. Good buddy of mine, Andrew Heisey, if you're listening. I hope you are. Shout out to you for always setting up the trip. Yeah, it's a blast, Shawn.
So you've gone from attending the Indianapolis 500 to watching it while potty training.
Yes, and both ended up being really fun weekends in my life.
Good.
So
That's
it was it was all good. But happy Memorial Day! Thanks to everybody out there, and thank you to our veterans and those that we've lost who gave the ultimate sacrifice, so that Shawn and I could sit here and bring you all our presentation,
so that we could exercise our right to podcast. That's very right. Important. And we talked about military families and. We have not in our family lost anyone as a result of their service, but very fortunate to have uncles who served. And I love to mention that my grandfather served in World War I. So military goes way back in our family. So proud to salute those who served and proud to remember those who lost their lives during their service.
That's right. That's right. Speaking of service, the end of the Texas legislative session also happened yesterday. They gavelled out, both the House and the Senate gavelled out sine die, Shawn.
I have to be totally honest with you. I did not know what Sindai or Sindine, or I kept seeing it on social media, and I was like, I know enough language and linguistics to know that whatever this is, it means the end and the end of the session. But I had never seen it referred to in that way.
Yes, sine die, without day, is a rough translation for you, Shawn.
If anyone would know, it would be someone who's been through that,
yes.
Ryan Trimble.
It's a pretty glorious day, unless like in some years past when I was down there, they gavel right back in for special session the next day. Kind of puts a damper on these sine die parties. But congrats to all our friends who made it through yet another legislative session, 140-day marathon/sprint.
Well, I saw a lot of action on social media, and it looked like in Austin for sine die, they had a sunny day.
I see what you did there. It was a bit of a stretch, but you know what? I'm glad you're participating.
It took me a while on that one, but okay. I thought I'm trying to just do my part here.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Shawn.
Yeah, if I don't try it, then there's no way. We've got a really great guest coming up today, a really great friend of our show and a great friend of our firm because his daughter went to school with one of our owner's boys. And so through her, I got to meet Dr. Brian Williams, who is our guest today on Deconstructing Dallas. And Dr. Williams came in. One of the reasons there are two reasons. Number one, he's leaving Dallas, heading to Chicago. He is going to be the Associate Professor of Surgery at the University of Chicago Medical Center. So for those of us who know and love Dr. Brian Williams for the work he's done here in our city, it's going to be a big loss. But before he gets out of here in the next month or two, he's going to be a speaker, really the featured speaker at the Shop Talk Men's Health Forum that's coming up on September 1st at the Thurgood Marshall Rec Center at 9 a.m. So we had an opportunity to talk to Dr. Williams about what he's going to be talking about, as well as a lot about his career and what we need to be doing to think about all of us need to be doing to think about our health.
Yeah, it was a really exciting time to have him in the studio. I've never seen Shawn Williams so locked in on a guest. No offense to our previous guests, of course, but this was a really, really interesting interview. And thanks again, Brian, for coming on. Shawn, why don't we jump right into it? Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Deconstructing Dallas, Ryan Trimble, Shawn Williams.
Over 111, and I had a stroke.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Deconstructing Dallas, Shawn Williams, Ryan Trimble. Ryan, we often talk about how we have friends coming on the show with us. And again, we're very fortunate to have a friend coming on with the show today. We've got Dr. Brian Williams, who will be the Associate Professor of Surgery at the University of Chicago Medical Center. Brian, welcome.
Shawn, thanks for having me. I've been wanting to have you on my show as well, but you've been pretty instrumental in making me become more out there as far as speaking up about things that matter to me in the community.
Well, we're glad that we got you first, so that works. and I'm gonna call him Brian. Ryan, is that okay with you? I know you are a stickler for the tail and titles, so I wanted to make sure with you that that's good.
Brian.
Okay. Yes. So, Brian, a lot of our listeners probably know you from the fact that you were in the emergency room at Parkland the night of the 7/7 police shooting in 2016, and we'll talk about that. But really, because I've gotten to know you through our boss here, Jennifer Pascal, and seen and talked to you about your career and how you even got to this point, would you mind just giving our listeners a little bit of the flavor of kind of how you got here and a little bit about your career?
Sure. So, I tell people I'm a trauma surgeon. That's what I've been trained to do. But I really consider myself a social justice advocate who happens to be trained in medicine. And I began my professional career, adult career, in the Air Force. I was an aeronautical engineer, and I did flight tests with no plans of becoming a doctor at that time. But a lot of my friends were in the medical field, so I became exposed to it, thought about doing it, and after maybe 2 or 3 years of just saying, maybe I want to do medicine, I finally made the plunge, and I went to medical school when most folks were graduating. I was 27 when I went to medical school, but I don't regret any of it. And from there, went to medical school in Tampa, residency in Boston, fellowship in Atlanta, and then I moved here to Dallas. The reason I came here was to work at Parkland Hospital. I wanted to work at a busy urban trauma center that was focused on indigent care. And since then, the path I thought I had laid out for myself has deviated and actually expanded to where I find myself doing things that are much more fulfilling to what's important to me as far as service to those who lack the resources and the access and the privilege that I have in my position. So it's brought me a lot more joy and satisfaction.
Brian, I wanted to go back and focus on that word trauma. I've got a buddy who's a fireman, and he will tell us about his overnights, and he'll be at 9-car pileups and mangled vehicles and everything. But he talks about it, and he loves it. And so I feel like guys who deal with trauma are a really unique breed. So tell us, you become an expert on trauma. Tell us why a trauma surgeon.
Yeah, it is. It's somewhat of a dichotomy that I get such joy and job satisfaction as a result of traumatic injuries to others, sure. Right? It's some of the worst days of their lives. You don't expect something traumatic to happen to you or your loved one when you walk out the door to go to work that day, but things do happen. And I enjoy the humanistic aspect of that, of being able to not only treat someone and try to help them get better, but get back to their pre-injury functioning, but to treat them as if they matter, like the humanistic side of that. Like, you as a person, I don't know your story, but I'm here to help you get better. So I've met a lot of people that have really, I get as much out from them as I hope that they get from me. It's changed my life in ways that impact how I interact with people on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the front lines of the worst day of their life, like you said.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm not a doctor or an engineer. You're both. But regardless of what we do, we can find passion, we can find joy, and we can find our purpose in our work. And I'm just interested in what it's been like for you as you taken that profession of a surgeon and married it to your feelings regarding social justice. How have you made that transition as far as integrating those things together?
Yeah, when I first got into medicine about 20-something years ago, for me, it was about social justice. And I didn't call it that back then. It was that term, if it did exist, it wasn't something that I was using in my vernacular. But it was about service to humanity. And over the course of medical school and residency and training, that part of me was kind of wrung out of me slowly. It became about other things, volumes and research and all these other academic pursuits that, for me, I lost sight of the importance of why I was in it in the first place. And, the tragedy of 7/7, that sort of reset my thinking and my focus about what am I doing? Why am I here on this earth? Why do I have these skills? How should I put them to work? And it wasn't overnight, but it was, and it's a journey that continues to this day, actually. But I realized that there were many more facets to my identity beyond just being a doctor.
And I think that's hard for people, because I remember the conversation we had in Jennifer's office, and you were still thinking through this in your head, like you knew that there was something else, but people don't dig deep enough sometimes just to realize that they can do things that they love and are passionate about, using their vocation even.
And that's certainly a challenge, because it's like I felt like I was seeing the code in the matrix, and I'm telling everybody, look, there's so much more out there, and I'm being told, like, look, Brian, just get back into your box. get back into your box, and you'll be fine. And some people, well, I'm talking about me. I thought about that for a while. That would have been the safe, easy, and somewhat comfortable route for me to take. But I knew it wasn't right. I just knew that I could not do that. Once I saw behind the curtain, you can't unsee that. And I had to pursue that somehow. And when you and I